While on vacation, I was in the Seattle area for a while, and had the opportunity to visit a museum of art glass by the renowned artist Dale Chihuly. And Dale Chihuly creates these massive glass-blown sculptures that are intricate and detailed and huge and beautiful. And as we're walking through this museum, looking at all of these different works of art in their many different sizes, shapes, and colors and beauties, we also look at the people that walk by as you pass by and give a little nod or whatever. And there was this one fellow who passed by me, and he certainly himself did not look like a work of art. He was a little portly around the center. He was walking with a limp. He had his arm in a sling. He had a patch over his eye. And I was thinking, my goodness, what has happened to you? And as we walked by, my friend Father Steve tapped me on the shoulder and said, I think that's the artist. And I remembered pictures we came in as a younger man, and sure enough, that was Dale Chihuly himself, walking through his museum. And it just struck me how I had misjudged him. How I had painted a picture in my mind of what a creator of these works of art would look like, and how he looked nothing like that. I reflect on that because I think many times in our minds and in our hearts, we close ourselves off to the possibilities around us. We limit ourselves by our own judgment, or our own fears, or our own distresses and struggles, and it keeps us from seeing what is really and truly in front of us. Today, the prophet Elijah stops beneath the tree because he is worn out. He has just battled the false prophets of Israel, and now he is telling God, I'm done. I'm tired. I can't do this anymore. I just want to rest, and more than rest, I want to give up. I want to die. And so he lays down beneath the tree, hoping never to arise again. But God says, oh no you don't. Oh no you don't, and he wakes him up, and he says, now get up, because I have something more for you to do. Now eat this, be strengthened, be fortified, and push through the struggle. Don't limit yourself. Don't give up. Keep going. Don't stop, because there is much that I have in store for you that Elijah was meant to do. And in his own way, Elijah would make ready for the coming of the Messiah. Jesus himself faces this kind of closed-mindedness from his own people. He stands there telling them he is the bread of life, and we've been hearing this gospel unfold all summer. And the people are beginning now to say, that doesn't fit my picture. That doesn't fit with my plan of what God should or could do. How could this man say this? And they begin to limit him. And in so doing, they limit themselves. He couldn't possibly be who he says he is. And so it's easier to write him off than to be challenged by him. But Jesus tells them, breaks them as God broke Elijah out of his slumber, stop murmuring. Stop narrowing your mind. Stop. Open up your heart. Open up your mind. And see that what I am saying is true for your good. For your good. How many times have you and I, in our own way, limited ourselves because it was easier to give up? It was easier to not fight or struggle. How many of us limited ourselves because the picture of life around us wasn't what we thought it should be? Or in our struggle said, I've had enough and I can't go anymore. When we refused to learn, when we refused to ask questions, when we refused to fight through the struggle, how many times have we limited the grace that God has in our lives. Today, Jesus gives us this bread of life that he speaks about. He gives us this bread of life so that we can be fed, so that we can overcome those strengths, or overcome those weaknesses, those difficulties, those struggles, those trials, those things that if we give in to them, if we lay down and die, we have nothing. Jesus feeds us with the bread of life so that we can live, so that we can overcome. Because what we find in him is that every cross becomes a door to resurrection. And yeah, it's easy to walk away from them. It's easy to want to do what the prophet did, or the people of Jesus' time, and say, I've had enough. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to push through the struggle. I don't want to have to learn. I don't want to have to grow. I don't want to have to change. But the bread of life nourishes us and feeds us and gives us the strength to get up and go forward. Even though it may not be all roses down the path. The thorns may cross our path. And that's okay, because God is with us on this journey. And he is telling us, don't limit yourself by limiting what I can do in your life. Believe that I am the bread of life. Believe that I can yet do great things. Believe that you have some plan in my greater plan. It is something that gives us hope. It is something that inspires us today and should make us now get up like that prophet did and march for 40 days to his destination. Jesus calls us out of ourselves, because really, if we just relied on ourselves, well, what can you and I produce? Waste products. That's what you and I make. And if we rely on that, like Elijah, we would die. But God produces food for the journey. God produces something we can live on. So by coming out of ourselves, opening our minds, our hearts to whatever is in front of us, he will take us the next step and the next step, one at a time. And we will be able to accomplish that journey. I had no idea what the creator of such beautiful glass artwork would look like. And had I been completely and totally closed-minded, I would have missed him walk right by. But thankfully, my eyes were open, and I saw something I didn't expect. What is in your life? What have you not seen? Or where is God that we said that couldn't be God? Open the heart, receive the bread of life, and then get up and walk the journey ahead and be amazed at what God will do for you.